guys, reading the instructions isn't all that bad. This is probably the worst video of all to show you me wiring a car, probably. But let's get into where the car is at, how much is accomplished, and maybe wrap up this electrical butchery of a video. All right, that's not part of the wire harness. Ugh. So basically, starting from the front to the back, we've got the headlight already wired up. That's ground. That's gonna go probably right there. Same with this other side. Headlight. The horns are all wired up, which is good. Might figure out a way to keep that tucked back there. Anyways, got the power source figured out and wired up. The starter, which there's the wire that kind of comes right here and goes to here. This starter goes directly to the power source. The big battery cable right here in my hand, that goes to the battery. Then we have these 6-gauge wires here and here. Basically, this guy goes to a 150 amp fuse in this one, which powers the Ford control pack, the chassis harness, all the accessories. Then we have this guy is a 200 amp fuse, which I will run additional wiring. There's more 6 gauge, got some here, I got some there. I'm going to run that straight to the alternator on the motor. It's alternator in the box somewhere, but it's going to go to the motor, which will be sitting about right here. I'll do some sort of routing, perhaps going to the back to the firewall and kind of up, similar to the fuel rail, perhaps, or just straight down and looped around. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what works best. But for the most part, this is what's going to prevent us having a fire on the next go around, because the alternator was basically feeding these wires too much, too hot. Not enough was kind of flowing around. So here's the new setup to hopefully prevent it. We have it fused off, so it shouldn't get too hot to the point of burning the car down. We'll have some sort of safety factor there. I do know, this being experimental, we'll have to double check, make sure I didn't put too small of a fuse. I'm pretty sure 150 amps to run radio, control pack, speakers, fuel pump. I feel like that'll be enough. Maybe we'll find out. If not, we'll probably go get another 200 amp. Everything's wired, loomed up. Everything is loose and nothing is really put into place yet. So, and then I got these guys. This is this green and blue wire. Green is for coolant temp. Blue is for oil pressure. So we've got to wire this guy up. So that guy kind of runs kind of backing around over here. So we'll drape that right there. So cool. Engine bay, there it is. Let's jump into the cab. So now we got a little bit of light, which will help with the view. So the last time I left off, or because I've been doing these in days, you'll probably see my clothes change and things like that. So the last I probably left you guys off was wiper switch, headlight switch were probably wired. But now we have the whole gauge cluster wired up. I've got the cigarette lighter wired up. The radio is wired up. All the speakers are connected. Yes, this is an absolute atrocious mess. But when I do my first startup, we'll have this all out and ready to troubleshoot any possible problems. Any lines that I wasn't using, I've, I guess you could call it terminated them. Like, so you can see right here where I took some heat shrink and I basically kind of heated them up, flattened out with like a little prier or pliers, and that way they won't arc off or do anything bad. I'm probably still going to need to rewire a I'm going to need to rewire a the thing for the show lights, the party lights. That's something I still need to wire up, because the party lights, you know, that's going to be the switch. This will be the clutch safety switch right here, so it's a simple little ground. That'll be pretty easy. But this guy's going to run 12 volts through it, and basically when I turn it on, it'll turn on the party lights in the back. Engine ignition switch is all wired up. What's that? What's that do? I wonder if that's a ground, probably. Anyways, I just noticed that that's fresh. Then we got this guy right here too. I'll have to check that out. I will investigate. Anyways, then we have through the shifter hold, I'm going to wire up my reverse lights. So I've never had them in this car. Never thought to wire them up. It's not required because of the age of the car or anything like that. So I figured, why not? Let's give it a shot. Give her a go, and get some reverse lights. So, and then I have the back seat kind of put back together. Panels are kind of put back on, and all that jazz. So pretty excited that it's coming together. The old wire harness. I'm so glad I kept this. By the way, I'm going to be frugal. I'm going to take every one of those fuses because they're still good fuses. I'll probably put them in a little baggie off to the side. Keep them here. I keep new fuses, brand new fuses, unused fuses in the car for roadside, fixes. But those are still good. I'll probably keep them in the garage, and maybe I don't know. I don't think fuses have an expiration date, but got the old wire harness. This was super helpful to come back, find all the circuits that I had ran to reference what it was supposed to be or what it was supposed to do. That was extremely helpful to have. In the trunk area, we've got everything wired up. So as you can see, same case, wires on the ground, only temporarily, because we, actually put the engine up. I might go ahead and put that away. But everything's still kind of loosely fit in here. There's for a taillight harness. Here's for the other side, the other taillight harness. And then we got the fuel pump, fuel sending unit, all wired up. License plate light wired up. And battery is still disconnected because we are still kind of doing some work. The obvious things that I have left to do. The taillight situation is a little tricky. I'll have to go find the taillight switch deal, because I think Wilwood anticipated me using the switch that's on the proportioning valve. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use because I'm using the factory style pedals, I'm going to use the factory style brake switch. So I actually need to go into the engine harness coil that I'm not using, and the brake switch is in there. So I need to get that. I might also try to figure out a way to run constant hot wire to the party lights, but first through the switch, because then I can turn the party lights on the Mustang. I can turn them on when the car is even off. Before, I wired them to an accessory circuit, and then that way it didn't burn down my battery. I wasn't tempted to just leave it on for hours at a car show. So this is pretty much concluding the bulk of the electrical harness install. Again, I'm sorry. I did probably a terrible job of actually showing you me, showing you guys me wiring the car, and I just didn't video it, because then I would get something done. I didn't know how long it would take, and that's probably part of the reason why some of you guys are watching, is to watch the discovery of wiring something, me figuring out how to wiring something, seeing the solution being, put into play, which I think that's just something I'm going to have to learn. But anyways, wiring 95% complete. Now it's time to put the engine and transmission back in the car and kind of finish this up. And if I, if I'm kind of in the right headspace for it, I think we will be able to get a crank on the car this weekend. Seeing that we got some pretty solid progress last night, and we have a nice full day to get some stuff done, to getting the engine into the car. That's the current stage that we're at. We got to get the engine into the car, finish up the wiring, and at that point, put the trickle charger on the battery to hopefully revive it. But if that battery's dead, hey, I'll get a new battery. It's not going to be all the end of the world. We also need fresh gas, because you can smell the gas is separated. So fresh gas, get it cranked. Pretty excited. I'm super excited to have my car back and to be able to jump in it, go run an errand, go to Cars and Coffee, go to a car meet. I'm kind of craving it, So, all right, time to get back to the hustle.